The 501st Legion was the poster child of the clone legions and the literal embodiment of boldness and skill, standing out as one of the most legendary units in the Grand Army of the Republic. Under the command of Jedi General Anakin Skywalker, Jedi Commander Ahsoka Tano, and Clone Captain Rex, the 501st became synonymous with bravery and especially unconventional strategies that often turned the tide of battle. These strategies were, of course, being the brainchild of Anakin Skywalker. The unique bond of the 501st with Anakin did set them apart from other clone legions, leading to higher creativity and individuality among a lot of the troopers. The Legion had a total of 10,581 clones, comprising 4 regiments and 21 clone commanders in total. Their signature blue-marked armor became an iconic signature of their unit, making them easily recognizable on the battlefield. They fought valiantly in countless campaigns, from the towering cityscapes on Christophsis to the shadowed chaos of Umbara. They were always there to bring the battle over the edge. Pretty much every clone you know and love is from this Legion, which is also because we pretty much only follow them in the Clone Wars TV series, but I digress. Here are some of my favorites: Echo, Heavy, Hardcase, and of course, Fives. See the common denominator? They all died heroically, protecting the ones they loved and sacrificing themselves for the greater good. Until they brought Echo back, but that doesn't count. The Siege of Mandalore also showcased that their loyalty is truly unique among the clones when a portion of the 501st painted their helmets orange in honor of Ahsoka, demonstrating their admiration for her leadership in their countless battles. The 501st legacy did have a sad turn with the issuance of Order 66. Alongside Darth Vader, they stormed the Jedi Temple during Operation Nightfall, and we all know how that ended up. During the Empire's reign, the 501st were transformed into Vader's Fist, being Vader's personal legion composed of the most elite soldiers from the Empire. They were even present during the Battle of Hoth years later, when the Empire took over Echo Base. In the real world, the 501st are so famous that they even got their own Star Wars costuming organization, composed of and operated by Star Wars fans. They are everywhere, and if you ever go to a convention, you'll meet them, and they're super friendly. Here's a picture I took at one of the conventions I've been to where they provided all the Star Wars costumes and cosplays, and they look super sick. The 182nd Legion was known for their red-marked armor. The Legion's story is one of the sadder ones on this list. They were deployed during the final year of the Clone Wars in the hostile jungles of Felucia, in an attempt to retake the planet from the Separatists. However, after losing communication with the Legion, the 501st was sent in and they discovered that the entire Legion of the 182nd Legion had been wiped out against the overwhelming Separatist forces on the planet. There isn't much else known about this Legion aside from one comic strip in 2010 where 4 members of the 182nd Legion were sent on a reconnaissance mission. One Sergeant Mart stood out when, despite losing his entire squad, Mart persevered in completing the mission. Single-handedly battling battle droids for hours, he destroyed the factory and secured incriminating Chirka data records. Severely injured, Mart escaped and delivered the evidence to Jedi General Kit Fisto. A true hero that no one's ever heard of, probably. The 313th Legion was briefly mentioned to be commanded by Jedi General Poe Bandis. During a mission on Ando Prime, the 313th Legion uncovers a secret Separatist manufacturing facility producing battle droids and weapons. In a battle with the droid army on Ando Prime, an experimental hyperspace wormhole transporter is accidentally activated, sending the combatants to an unknown Outer Rim planet. The Jedi Council believes the Lost Legion is alive and assigns Clone Commander Vargas's Excelsior Company to investigate. They succeed and bring the 313th Legion back to Coruscant. The 7th Sky Corps, commanded by Jedi General Obi-Wan Kenobi and Marshal Commander Cody, was one of the most prominent units in the Grand Army of the Republic. Most recognizable by the orange marking, the 7th Sky Corps was a large division within the Grand Army of the Republic, consisting of 36,864 troopers spread across 16 regiments. This corps included several battalions, such as the famous 212th Attack Battalion, which also had its own specialized units, like in the 212th Recon Division. The corps was made up of 256 companies, including the 212th Ghost Company and 2nd Airborne Company. Within the 7th Sky Corps were 1,024 platoons, one of which was Waxer's platoon, and a total of 4,096 squads. The Corps also featured Foxtrot Group, a special forces unit led by Clone Captain Gregor. The 212th Attack Battalion is the most prominent member of the 7th Sky Corps as it's Cody's personal command unit, and featured most prominently in the show, being specialized in, well, attacking the enemy on the offensive. The troopers of the 212th were renowned for their discipline and tactical acumen, traits that mirrored Cody's and Kenobi's leadership. They also are the first corps to introduce the paratroopers to us, the coolest looking clone type, which you can learn about all in this video of mine. Alongside the 501st, the 212th played key roles in several decisive battles, including the Second Battle of Geonosis and the Battle of Umbara. Their most memorable moment came during the Battle of Utapau, where they, alongside Obi-Wan Kenobi, were able to defeat General Grievous' forces for the final time, effectively ending the war. I know it's mainstream and we don't get to see the other battalions a lot, but they are probably my second favorite behind the 501st. The 21st Nova Corps were an elite unit led by Jedi General Ki-Adi-Mundi and Marshal Commander Bakara. They were more commonly referred to as the Galactic Marines, as they were known for their brutal combat tactics and relentless training. The Galactic Marines embodied discipline and efficiency, earning a fearsome reputation throughout the Clone Wars. Under Bakara's very strict watch, the Marines underwent specialized training in extreme environments, including underwater operations, space combat, and hazardous terrain like deserts or deep snow. Any clone that failed the training was excluded faster than you can spell Galactic Marine. This also made Commander Bakara one of the most disliked commanders from other regiments, as him and Commander Neo were both thought to be very distant and cold toward their comrade in arms. This strict training also put him at odds with Ki-Adi-Mundi at times. However, overall, they did work very well together. The unique maroon and white clone armor of the Galactic Marine was designed to protect against environmental hazards like sand, snow, and ash, making them the most adaptable clone unit in the Grand Army of the Republic. Their looks also resemble the Imperial snowtroopers a lot, and are certainly inspired by them. The Marines most prominently featured in the Battle of Megiddo, where they fought in icy conditions against the Separatist forces. Order 66 was issued during the battle, and Bakara personally led the execution of Ki-Adi-Mundi. The 327th Starcore was a unit led by Jedi General Aayla Secura and Marshal Commander Bly. Operating on some of the harshest and most volatile battlefronts, the 327th often found themselves at the forefront of the Republic's campaigns. Their armor featured striking marigold yellow markings, often accompanied by pauldrons and comma skirts that set them apart visually. They also sadly never got an official LEGO clone figure, unless you want to count this wrongly colored 212th trooper, that is. Among their many campaigns, the 327th featured on Felucia and shortly in the Clone Wars TV series during the Battle of Quell, where they, or more specifically 4 members of the 327th, helped these little monkeys defend their home. Of course, the Battle of Felucia is where they executed Order 66, shooting Aayla Secura in the back and still shooting her after she had died. Now, you might think that was super cruel, but actually, that was due to their respect for her, as they wanted to be sure she wasn't suffering and would have a quick death. How honorable. The 416th Starcore was a clone trooper corps under the command of Jedi General Crook. Toward the start of the Clone Wars, they fought in the Battle of Terror, suffering heavy casualties. The Whiffid General, Crook, initially considered retreating to save his troops as the battle turned grim. However, he was persuaded to press on by a clone trooper who argued that their lives were secondary to the mission's success, and could be sacrificed for the Galactic Republic's victory on the planet. The Corps achieved its objectives, but at a devastating cost, leaving Crook guilt-ridden over the loss of so many troopers. Struggling with the Jedi Order's role in the war, he disappeared after the battle, but later resurfaced to share his experiences and conflicted feelings with Mace Windu, showing the scars the war was leaving on the Jedi. The 41st Elite Corps was a corps led by Jedi General Luminara Unduli and Clone Commander Gree. The 41st Elite Corps had different subunits, one being Green Squad, which was fitting to their armor having significant green marking, the other being the 41st Ranger Platoon and the 41st Scout Battalion. Despite being a corps itself, the 41st was organized under the 9th Assault Corps and at times designated as the 41st Elite Legion. The 41st Scout Battalion itself was an elite infantry and armor battalion that specialized in reconnaissance and combat in challenging terrains, particularly dense overgrown areas. To enhance mobility and flexibility, its members were camouflaged Phase 2 ARF armor. Equipped with a sun shield and a wider visor, the helmet's design provided improved visibility, making it ideal for navigating jungle and rainforest environments. The 41st Ranger Platoon, on the other hand, was an infantry and strike team unit within the 41st Elite Corps of the Grand Army of the Republic. It comprised 4 squads, totaling 36 clone troopers, and served the Galactic Republic during the Clone Wars. The unit frequently deployed and used AT-RT walkers for reconnaissance and combat operations. The 41st played significant roles in major battles such as the Second Battle of Geonosis. They were later deployed to Kashyyyk, fighting alongside the native Wookiees in defending the planet from separatist invaders. The 41st Ranger Platoon notably arrived with Yoda to Kashyyyk during that battle. Of course, they were present when Order 66 was enacted, and Commander Gree and Captain Jack were killed by Yoda. As a side note, I'd say Commander Gree is probably the best looking official LEGO clone minifigure there is. The attention to detail, the silver contrasting with the black and green camouflage, such a great design. The 9th Assault Corps, which we mentioned previously, was led by Jedi General Luminara Unduli and Commander Gree. It included the 41st Elite Corps and featured Sarlacc Battalion A and Sarlacc Battalion B as subordinate units. Other than that, nothing is known about them. The 87th Sentinel Corps was an infantry unit in the Grand Army of the Republic during the Clone Wars, comprising 36,864 troopers organized into 16 regiments just like all the other corps. Distinguished by maroon markings on their white Phase II clone trooper armor, the 87th specialized in urban defense and was frequently deployed to protect Republic cities threatened by separatist forces. They first featured in DICE's 2017 Battlefront 2 game as the default skin on Naboo, and are the ones that appear in the trailer for the game.
Sector is clear. Not clear! Not clear!
The 91st Recon Corps was another more specialized unit of the Grand Army of the Republic. They were often tasked with long-range scouting and reconnaissance operations, commanded by Marshal Commander Neo and by Jedi General Adi Gallia. After her death, Stas Ali, Mace Windu, and Oppo Rancisis were known to have led the 91st Recon Corps at various points. The 91st Recon Corps troopers wore standard Phase II armor, distinguished by a maroon-painted left shoulder plate and 4 circular red sigils that marked them as members of the unit. Comprised of 36,864 troopers divided into 16 regiments, it included Lightning Squadron, a specialized armor cavalry unit of ARF troopers led by Commander Pons, who also was the clone commander seen during the First Battle of Geonosis, funnily enough. The Corps also featured BARC troopers, alongside standard clone troopers, sharpshooters, and heavy weapon specialists. The BARC troopers are what the 91st Recon Corps are most notable for, as BARC trooper armor was slightly different in design to the regular Phase II armor, offering more flexibility and better aerodynamics when riding the speeders. Notable battles of the 91st Recon Corps included their deployment on Seleucami, and their involvement in the Siege of Ryloth, where they were led by Mace Windu. Like many other units, the 91st was shown during Order 66, where Commander Neo gunned down Stas Ali during a speeder bike patrol. The Coruscant Guard was a corps of elite shock troopers and served as the Republic's elite urban security force, responsible for safeguarding the capital planet and key Republic infrastructure. Known for their distinctive red armor with red stripes, they performed a wide array of duties, including riot control, prisoner transport, and escorting high-profile individuals like senators to off-world locations as well. Notably, in the Grand Army, they were the only clone unit without a Jedi General leading, being their superior, as they answered directly to the Supreme Chancellor. The Coruscant Guards were instead led by Commander Fox, most notably, as well as other commanders we got to know, such as Commander Stone and Commander Thorn, who I'm sure needs a little introduction. Overall, they featured in a lot of episodes as well as in the movies, being present for the hunt for Ahsoka notably, where it was revealed that there were also Grizzer troopers in the ranks, a type ARF trooper that used the Grizzer hounds to hunt down suspects. The most well-known Grizzer trooper being Sergeant Hound, who featured during Ahsoka's escape quite a lot. They were also present during the very first episodes of the Clone Wars TV series, escorting Master Yoda to Toydaria, where we got our first introduction to the clones not solely being mindless droids and rather had variations of personality. The clones featured in that arc were Lieutenant Thayer and the shock troopers Jek and Reese. It literally never occurred to me until researching for this video that they were shock troopers, but it does make sense actually. So yeah, I think they don't need any more introduction and are certainly one of the most well-known and popular clone units among the fandom, most likely due to their unique coloration and probably because they were Palpatine's unit as well. The 104th Battalion, also known as the Wolfpack, was a highly respected unit of the Grand Army of the Republic. Under the leadership of Commander Wolf and Jedi General Plo Koon, they were distinguished by their gray and blue armor, often marked with wolf emblems that paid homage to their commander. Thus, they were called the Wolfpack. Being a battalion, they were a total of 651 clones under the 104th Battalion, making them a rather small force in the Grand Army. They made up for that, though, by being featured very prominently throughout the Clone Wars TV series, being shown whenever possible. The 104th Battalion was no stranger to loss, with one of their most devastating moments occurring during the Malevolence campaign, where much of the battalion was destroyed. In the wake of this tragedy, the 104th adopted their gray color scheme as a somber tribute to their fallen brothers, which was a stark contrast to the previous maroon-red markings. Despite these hardships, they pushed forward and played a pivotal role in several battles, including those on Venkor and Felucia. Commander Wolf's leadership was shaped by his close bond with Plo Koon, being both disciplined and compassionate, making the betrayal during Order 66 all the more tragic. Despite his compliance with the directive, Wolf's post-war journey was marked by regret, as he eventually removed his inhibitor chip and sought redemption alongside other clones like Captain Rex. The 187th Battalion were the battalion assigned to Jedi General Mace Windu. Their armor, marked with vibrant purple accents, mirrored the color of Windu's iconic purple lightsaber. Little is known about where they were deployed, except for one battle on Dantooine where they fought alongside Windu to secure the planet against the Separatist invaders. They were also present during the Battle of Coruscant, defending the Jedi Temple when Grievous attacked. Funnily enough, they were never depicted on screen and were relatively unknown until 2019, where they were randomly revealed in a LEGO set and then declared canon. LEGO didn't come up with them completely though, as Hasbro in 2006 had already released a clone trooper in purple armor and called it Mace Windu's Trooper, and it wasn't until 2023 when Hasbro released an updated version of this clone trooper that it was named the 197th Battalion Trooper. Their commander in the LEGO set is unnamed, but depicted in a paratrooper armor, and up till this point, this can probably be considered canon. So yeah, there's a fun little bit of trivia for you. The 13th Battalion were led by Jedi General Jaro Tapal and his Padawan Cal Kestis. They featured bright yellow armor adorned with striking arrow motifs on their helmets. The 13th featured in Jedi Fallen Order, where they defended Braca during the final days of the Clone Wars. However, as Order 66 was issued, they opened fire on their Jedi General, Jaro Tapal. Realizing the betrayal, sacrificed himself to save Cal Kestis, enabling the young Padawan to escape. Tapal also set the ship to self-destruct, killing the entire battalion and becoming a defining point in Cal's journey as one of the few Jedi survivors. The Rancor Battalion was a unit composed of at least the 4 ARC troopers, Blitz, Colt, Havoc, and Hammer, while the main force were ARF troopers. They were stationed on Kamino and are seen shooting down the Trident-class assault ships with rocket launchers during the Battle of Kamino. During the battle, Commander Colt is killed by Ventress and given the kiss of death, while Havoc is killed defending Maintenance Clone 99 out on the platforms. They aren't widely deployed and weren't seen a lot after that, except for cameos in the background like in the episode where C-3PO and R2-D2 get lost. The Hawk Bat Battalion operated as part of the 101st Regiment and was closely associated with the 327th Starcore. The troopers of Hawk Bat Battalion were equipped with Phase 1 clone trooper armor, often supplemented with brown rain ponchos for protection in adverse weather conditions. They were featured in the 2003 Clone Wars cartoon. The Lancer Battalion was composed entirely of Lancer troopers, a specialized unit trained for combat using speeder bikes and lances. They were particularly noted for their deployment during the Battle of Munalinst in the 2003 Clone Wars cartoon, where they fought against Dirge's IG Lancer droids. The 442nd Siege Battalion were distinguished by their green armor. They were heavily deployed in sieges across the galaxy. Their most notable mission involved an assault on Cato Neimoidia, where they worked to dismantle the local separatist strongholds. The 612th Attack Battalion was commanded by Commander Ganch and supposedly were red armor just like Commander Ganch. Initially, the battalion served under Jedi Master Bola Rapal, who went on to get killed by Cad Bane after failing to protect the holocron containing the Force-sensitive children. Following Master Rapal's death, leadership of the battalion transitioned to Jedi General Keelivine Reyes. The 38th Armor Division and their subunit, the Combat Engineer Battalion, was composed of clone troopers trained specifically in engineering and artillery maintenance. The armor of the 38th Armored Division featured mustard-colored markings, while the Combat Engineer Battalion had a darker brown color to signify their specialization and tasks. The 18th Battalion, led by Captain Herc and Jedi General Bant Aaron, appeared in the Clone Wars Decide Your Destiny novel series. The 302nd Battalion was a battalion led by Clone Commander Theo, and were introduced in the novel Brotherhood. And that's all we know about them. The 43rd Battalion was deployed during one of the most devastating conflicts of the Clone Wars, the Battle of Jabim. The engagement saw the complete annihilation of their battalion. Finally, as an honorable mention, as they aren't a legion, battalion, or a corps, I just wanted to highlight Keeley's unit, which was wiped out during the Battle of Ryloth. They were under the command of Jedi Master Ima-Gundy, and had one of the saddest but fulfilling last stands in the Clone Wars. RIP. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Let me know which legion is goated for you. For me, it's definitely the 501st. I'm just mainstream like that.